Hello YouTube fans, if you hear a bit of noise, it's just the Ross machine. This, I don't know why I'm showing this, because it's not a Bruce Lee fucking film. It's not a Bruce Lee film. That being Fist of Fury 2. Now, I'm not going to swear, I'm not going to go blah, 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 but it is a rant. It's a rant, and like I say, it's a review and all. That being Fist of Fury 2. And the reason why I'm going to sort of have a rant is because it's a sequel. It has Bruce Lee. Now, for anyone who does not know who Bruce Lee is, Bruce Lee used to be a guy who used to imitate Bruce Lee a lot in his films. You know, when Bruce Lee passed away, had a lot of people, then Bruce Lee imitations, and a lot of people imitating Bruce Lee. But like you have a lot of people imitating Elvis, or other famous people are no longer with us, right? So Bruce Lee's in it. Now, I've got nothing against Bruce Lee. I admit he really does look like Bruce Lee. And some of his martial art moves are really impressive. You know, he really does do a good imitation of Bruce Lee. He really does look like him. So that's not the problem. I don't mind Bruce Lee. And I admit I've got a film with Bruce Lee in called The Man, the Myth, The Man and the Myth, which is basically sort of like a true story about Bruce Lee, you know, how he died, different theories when he passed away, and basically how he got started in his martial art career and everything. And I admit, Bruce Lee does really do a good performance there, and it's so surprising. It is so surprising how much he looks like Bruce Lee. It really is. It's my character. It is really surprising how much he looks like Bruce Lee in the film The Man and the Myth. Maybe that's one I might talk about because it's a hell of a lot better than this. How does it open? You saw cutaway photos of Fist of Fury, so okay, you get memory lane. It's also a bit where he did that thing, Bruce Lee, and he does that thing, yeah, he jumps in the air, you get them shoot sound effects again, bang, 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 and yet he's dead. Remember when I did the review of Fist of Fury and they say they killed him off stream? They did. What they could have done was, they could have had Bruce Lee playing the same character and somehow he managed to dodge the bullet and he's gone on the run and maybe make it a bit like First Blood. Remember First Blood? They didn't draw First Blood. No, that's how we do it now. I didn't draw First Blood. They did. You know, make it like that. But no. You get this, the scene where the film pauses, the same scene, bang, 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 and then you've got the funeral, which I'm assuming the funeral is our mate Bruce. Now, I don't know the reasons. Maybe the actress didn't feel comfortable playing it because, you know, there's an actress, as I already said, very attractive girl in that era. And she was in a lot of Bruce Lee films. And maybe, I don't know, maybe they didn't ask her or she didn't want to be in the film. So what did they do? You got the funeral of my mate. And she kills herself. Obviously, it's not her, it's a different actress. But the girl who was Bruce Lee's woman, she stabs herself at the funeral and dies. What a great way to open your film. So you kill my mate off. I don't know, he died in real life. But you also kill the girl off and all, who is his woman. And that doesn't piss me off the most. Everything what the character who Bruce Lee was playing fought for, but he fought for his people in the karate stool, I mean the kung fu stool, martial arts stool. Everything he fought for them was for nothing. It was for nothing. Because you've got the Chinese again, picking on them, bullying them, and treating them like shit again. And it pisses me off again. Because to me, right, you've got one guy in it, he's got a moustache, looks a bit like fucking Hitler. He has this moustache, you know what I mean? It's a Chinese version of bloody Hitler. And to me, it just feels like a fucking remake. It's not Fist of 42, it's a bloody remake. You know what pisses me off? I originally had this on video, right? Video, even had it on DVD. Don't ask me why. But I got it. And it has a cutaway photo of Bruce Lee's face. Why, I don't know, because we all know he's not in the film, right? And all it is just a cutaway of him when he did Enter the Dragon. So it's there, he did us a good film on a shit film. Bruce Lee comes in here as Bruce Lee's brother, right? You know what it reminds me of? In that scene? Dame of Death 2. Remember Dame of Death 2 I reviewed? Where Billy Lowe's long lost brother Bobby Lowe come into it. It's like that. And it's like Bruce Lee had a brother. Never was mentioned. But yeah, he had a brother. Well, I can't remember what his brother's name's called in this, so I'm just going to say Bruce Lee. So Bruce Lee comes in it. And it's like I said, Bruce Lee ain't the problem. It's not the problem. It's just the fact that it starts A through. Big word for me. It just feels like I'm watching a bloody remake. Even the main villain looks like the villain who Bruce Lee kicked out the bloody window. It does. Every villain looks the same, and it makes everything pointless. Everything what they went through, pointless. Somehow the teacher, the one who was teaching the martial arts, he's an alcoholic. I never knew that, but he was an actor. And they make him drink beer. There's some bits in it which is a bit vicious. There's a bit, but I believe was caught on TV, but I actually had the looks of having the uncut one, where they're branding the Chinese to make him sign the martial arts stool away. So they're branding the Chinese people. And as I was saying, yeah, so they brand the Chinese, and I do admit that's that vicious scene. But it's like everything what Bruce Lee went through, was pointless because the martial arts stool gets destroyed, but then Bruce Lee, similar to the Fist of Fury, the original one, but I don't know why I'm doing this because it's not even Bruce, it's Bruce Lee. But Bruce Lee, who's like an imitator of Bruce Lee, he comes in and he saves the day. He actually saves the day, you know what I mean? There's a bit in it where he's making them headbutt themselves. There's a bit in it where he goes in a bar and he beats up a couple of the Chinese who are picking on the Japanese. And he's, you know what I mean? He basically gets his feet revenge, which definitely, Fist of Fury too. And I do admit that some of the martial art moves a bit he dud. I do admit some of the martial art moves that Bruce Lee does, he does a few dud. I can't pronounce the word. He does a few dud martial art moves. You know what I mean? He does a few dud moves, a few kicks, a few lefts and hooks. So for a martial art film, you're definitely going to get a cheat. Bruce Lee does do it really good, but to me, it just felt like it was just a remake of Fist of Fury, only not as good. And it's like I said, Bruce Lee ain't the problem. He's doing the best he can do. He's on his doing, but to me, it just felt like, date another Bruce Lee imitator. Like I said, you want to see Bruce Lee do a dud Bruce Lee imitated film, which is a dud one, by the way. What's The Man and the Myth? The Man and the Myth is a better film. It's a better film. Like I say, you've got one guy who looks like blood in Italy, Mistass, and he tries to imitate the main villain who is in the Fist of Fury. But to cut the story short, he's having a fight with the main villain, right? And he even has Stratzis, and I find out of feeling it looks exactly like how Bruce Lee looked in Enter the Dragon. Remember the scene in Enter the Dragon where he's fighting the main bad guy, he has them juffs that look like feather, he's stratsing Bruce here, there, everywhere. He even has that in the film. He beats the bad guy, for some reason, don't ask me why, but the bad guy does akitaka. You don't know what akitaka is? It's what the Chinese do, you know, they commit suicide. If they miss their honour, they take their life, and they call it akitaka. So for some reason, the main bad guy does akitaka, stabs himself, Bruce Lee walks off. I'll give it its due on this one, though. I will give it its due on this one. It does actually have a happy ending. It doesn't roar, it doesn't pause like the Suntown Kid and he gets shot up. But I just wish it had that ending in the original Fist of Fury. I really do wish it had that happy ending in the Fist of Fury, because everything what Bruce went for was pointless. It was pointless. But I'll give it its due. It does have a happy ending, so that's why I'm not going and I'm going to give it a 2-star rating. One, because I do like Bruce Lee and he's not the problem, and two, because it had a happy ending. I just wish it did the happy ending. I just wish it did the happy ending in the original. But in the same time, it does feel like I'm watching a bloody remake. It feels like I'm watching a bloody remake. Seriously, it is. It's a fucking remake. It's a remake. Same villain, same story. Dante did a bit more nasty to it. They make the guy, the vampire, and the guy, they turn him into an outcast. They're ripping people and branding people. I mean, that's like disturbing. But it's just, basically, it's just a flipping remake. You know what I mean? That's how I felt about it. It was just a flipping remake. But I'm not ranting, I'm not going, nah. It's just the only thing what peed me off, and I'll just say it, is it made everything what this character went through pointless. You get a different cult of people who are Japanese, picking on the Chinese, they destroy the stool, they mistreat him again, Bruce Lee, which could have had him paid the same character because he looked like Bruce, but they didn't. Comes into it as Bruce Lee's long lost brother. Good fight scene, so I'll give it that. So I'll give it an half and 2 to be fair. But in all fairness, it's just a remake. I don't know what to say about it. So I sort of swear and go, nah. I sort of just think it. So to me, I've got it a review. I got it a rant. And the only thing what pissed me off is they killed Bruce's character off. Fair enough, I know he died in real life. They killed his woman off. Everything he fought for was for nothing. For nothing. And that's what pissed me off. Into then, I'll see you soon.